Nokia didn't fail.
By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly how a company that once owned and
half the planet's phones ended up worth less than the coffee budget of the company that replaced it. This is the story of the biggest fall in tech history. And it starts with a phone that weighed as much as a bowling ball.
Thanks for watching. Check out the next video here, and don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more content.
Nokia wasn't even a phone company to begin with. Founded in 1865, it started out making paper, rubber, and cables. But by the 1980s, Nokia had a new obsession: mobile communication.
In 1982, they launched their first car phone. It weighed almost 22 pounds.
You didn't carry this thing a ton, you basically installed it like furniture. 2 years later, a phone you could take out of your car. Progress. It only weighed 11 pounds. Then, in 1987, Nokia dropped the Cityman, under 2 pounds. For the first time, you could actually walk around a city holding your phone instead of your car.
Smaller phones, bigger sales, simple formula. And Nokia was about to ride it all the way to the top of the world.
(1991), Finland. The Prime Minister picks up a Nokia device and makes the world's very first GSM call. The technology that would define how phones talk to networks for the next 2 decades. Nokia didn't just build a phone, they helped build the language phones speak.
Then came the moment that should be taught in every business school. Nokia releases the 2100 series. Internal projection, sell maybe 400,000 units.
Actual sales, 20 million. That's not a forecasting miss. That's a company completely misjudging how badly the world wanted what they were building. It happened again a year later. Nokia estimated the entire global market for mobile handsets would top out around 40 million units. Reality? 250 million. By 1997, Nokia wasn't just winning there. They were the market. 25% of every phone sold a Nokia logo on it.
And here's a detail that tells you everything about Nokia's dominance. In markets like India, retailers didn't sell Nokia phones. Nokia 3310. Customers walked in and demanded them by model number.
By 2008, Nokia had sold roughly 450 million handsets. They weren't a company anymore. They were infrastructure. Success has a side effect nobody warns you about. It makes you slow. While Nokia kept winning in emerging markets, growth in the US and Europe was already stalling. And internally, the company had become massive, bureaucratic, and for a business that once moved at the speed of innerly sluggish. Then, 2 threats appeared at the exact same time.
Apple. Google.
And a third threat, quieter than most people underestimated, a wave of small, fast-moving Chinese manufacturers who could design, build, and ship a new phone faster than Nokia could finish a meeting about one. Here's the principle at the center of this entire story. Every competitive advantage has an expiration date. Nokia's superpower was hardware, feature phones, battery life, durability, distribution. But the ground was shifting beneath an entirely different question. What can this phone do, not just how well is it built? And Nokia was late to even ask that question seriously. Manufacturing itself was moving too out of Europe and the US straight into China, which was becoming the new center of gravity for the entire electronics world.
By 2008, Nokia was being squeezed from 3 directions at once. Apple owned the premium tier, Android was flooding the mid-range, and Chinese manufacturers were undercutting everyone at the bottom.
By 2010, Google's Play Store had roughly 200,000 apps. Nokia's own operating system, Symbian, practically empty. This is the mistake. Not a bad phone, not bad hardware. Nokia clung to Symbian long after the world had moved on, while Apple was quietly building something far more dangerous than a phone, a complete ecosystem. The world today isn't won by the best product. It's won by the strongest ecosystem.
Samsung understood this. They adopted Android early and rode its momentum. Nokia, meanwhile, laid off thousands of employees and still refused to let go of Symbian. By 2011, the entire industry had transformed. Nokia was standing in the exact same spot it had been standing in for a decade.
New CEO. And almost immediately, he sends a memo that would become one of the most infamous documents in tech history.
He compared Nokia to a man standing on a burning oil platform in the middle of the ocean, with only one option left. Jump into
freezing water and swim, or stay and burn. It was a wake-up call. Nokia knew it needed to change everything.
And this is where the story takes its most painful turn. Nokia was reportedly close to choosing Android, the platform with the fastest growing ecosystem on Earth, the exact thing that could have saved them.
But leadership hesitated.
The thinking, essentially, was, if we adopt Android, we become just like everyone else. So instead, Nokia partnered with Microsoft, Windows Phone. The logic sounded reasonable on paper. Microsoft has the software, we have the hardware. Together, we become the third ecosystem. But Windows Phone had no developers, no apps, no ecosystem gravity. Meanwhile, Android kept compounding. More users, more developers, more manufacturers, more momentum in an unstoppable feedback loop. Nokia had picked the losing side of the war at the exact moment the war was being decided. The world moved on without them. Windows Phone never had a chance, not because the software was bad, but because Nokia bet everything on a platform nobody else was building for. Here's what this story is really about, and it's bigger than phones. Being good alone is not enough. You need a community, a network, an ecosystem around you. Look at every platform that dominates today. YouTube, Android, payment apps like Paytm. None of them are just products. They're ecosystems where more users attract more creators attract more users, and the loop feeds itself forever. There's an old saying that fits perfectly here.
Whoever has the crowd has the world's attention.
If you want to build something that lasts, don't just build the best product in the room. Build where the traffic already is, and build the thing that makes people want to stay.
It's always this busy on a Saturday.
Yeah, I love the vibe though. Are we getting the latte or the pour over?
Nokia had the best hardware on the planet for over a decade. It's still lost. Not because the phones got worse. Because the world stopped competing on phones, and started competing on ecosystems. And that single decision, Symbian over Android, Microsoft over the open ecosystem, is the exact moment the empire ended.
There's actually a second half to this story, what happened after Nokia partnered with Microsoft, and how that deal collapsed too. That's coming in part 2.
If this kind of breakdown of real companies, real mistakes, real lessons is something you want more of, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one.